In the great cities of Canada and in the tiny villages, we hear the songs of many lands. For the people who have built our cities, our land and industries are of many different races. On busy streets of Montreal or Winnipeg, on the quiet streets of little towns, we still hear many tongues. And yet today all are Canadian. 1/3 of a million of us, our sixth largest racial group, came from the broad steppes of the Ukraine. Ukrainians, with their wit and high spirit, their melodious speech, their love of freedom and family, have brought much to enrich our Canadian culture. The older people remember with heartbreak and pride how cruelly the old land has suffered. But here in Canada, the young, the new generation remember only their new homes in Toronto or Timmins or Port Arthur, and are developing their strength and talents for life in the new land. At the festival, they gave demonstration of their training in physical fitness. One of the aims of the Ukrainian youth clubs is to develop sturdy and healthy bodies. And indeed, it's on Canada's playgrounds and back lots that there begins the process of teamwork and friendship, where the strains of many different races and peoples first flow together. But it's important, too, to learn the beautiful old songs and dances of the Ukraine. The Hopak Kolom, the Natalitsa, the whirlwind, in which hundreds of dancers take part. But most of these people came out to Western Canada, whose vast grain fields recall the rolling steppes of the Ukraine itself. They brought with them pioneering toughness and skill from centuries of peasant life. Many Western communities today bear such names as Vilna, Kridor, Miram, and Tarnopol. These were the people who staged another brilliant festival at Edmonton in the summer of 1946. Thousands of Ukrainians came from cities and farms between Vancouver and Winnipeg to meet friends, to see the training of the youth groups, to sing in massed choirs, and to take part in the vigorous and exciting dances of the Ukraine. In World War II, about 35,000 of Canada's Ukrainians volunteered for armed service. And in many other ways, with rallies and concerts and money, they gave their help and energies to the United Nations' worldwide struggle against tyranny. The Ukraine is famed for its stalwart men and pretty women, for hospitality, and for the gaiety of its dancing. Here in Western Canada, at weddings and festivals, dances like the Wasyl are still a lively part of any celebration. At this party in Winnipeg, young Ernest shows how well the youngsters have learned dances known for generations in the villages of the Ukraine. Lusty and strong, the spirit of these dances has still another aspect. Some of them reflect in fierceness and melancholy the hard history of the people, the suffering at the hands of Turkish, Polish, and Tartar invaders. The famous sword dance, Zaporozhye, recalls the days of Cossack frontiersmen and their wild, free, perilous life as defenders of the old Ukraine. These are tough and resilient people, keeping alive the best in their own traditions and culture. They have a long history of movement and settlement, of struggle against tyranny. Cooperation, love of community, respect for work and for learning are among their qualities. In Canada, they have done the hard jobs in Northern Ontario mines, in British Columbia lumbering camps, and in the railway shops and bush farms across the prairie provinces. Today, with pioneering behind them, they are becoming trained teachers, engineers, doctors, members of our government. By their work and by their culture, Canadian Ukrainians have made a vast contribution to the building of this new nation, Canada.